All right. Welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program, Development Experience. So I expected the New York Predator Department to be outside. I was upstairs and they were using their sirens. Pam came home. As she came home, she walked into the living room, started shaking her keys. You know, I was watching the video, so I looked at her and it's like what? So I had to go use the white woman again. What's the pattern? What's the patterns? So I had to go use the bathroom. She was in the kitchen and cooking dinner for the kids, which by the way is after 8 o'clock. And she's cooking dinner after 8 o'clock. All right. So I said to her, I said, why did you come into the living room shaking your keys? I said, is that supposed to do something? Yeah, is that supposed to trigger me in any way? You know, because it doesn't. I said, that's because it doesn't do anything. So after I said that, I go in the living room. The New York Predator Department started, again, using their sirens, right, in a very aggressive manner. Okay? And they were going off, man. So I expected them to be downstairs. But of course, you know, they just love to make noise and love to engage in noise attacks. You know, so I said to Pamela, I said to her, I told Ethan, I said, Ethan, you know, I'll leave together with Alyssa, that way y'all take the bus together. And she gets, because, you know, they take the same bus, right? So, and then Pam was like, why does he have to, this with this woman is that when she doesn't want to take Alyssa to school, she let Ethan take him to school. Ethan take her to school, right? And sometimes late. Sometimes Ethan misses his first period and second period class because he has to take Alyssa to school. But because I mentioned to Ethan, JDL 7632, I mentioned to Ethan because I took her phone. I told Pamela, I said, no, because when you don't take her phone from her, and so she's up all night on the phone. And because she's been getting up, she went to school early by herself for 2 days, which again, I don't think that she should, because again, of what is going on and what it is that they're doing. And the fact that, particularly today, if you look at one of the videos that I did today, my daughter was saying, her classmate was like, let me walk you in because you need protection. That sort of shit, right? Sending those type of subliminal message. Why? Because, Pam will not want to take Alyssa to school because she doesn't want to get up early to take her to school. So now Alyssa's getting older. And I said to her, you looking at her age, right? But does she have the mindset? You saw what happened one time when when you had her, she didn't, what happened? I think it was when she was younger. She was like in the 6th grade. And she had Alyssa, I think she had Alyssa go somewhere, to the Boys and Girls, I think. And Alyssa ended up going with her friends somewhere. No, it was after school. It was after school. She was home. She didn't go. She told Alyssa to come home by herself. She had told me not to come over because she was home. And Alyssa and her friends, went with her friends somewhere. Ended up getting lost. And someone had to tell her exactly where to go, right, to get back on the bus and what have you. And this is what I'm talking about. I said our daughter is not really ready for that. At least I don't think so. Because if she's easily influenced, like today, when her friend said to her, "Oh, you're in after school because you're on the list." How does her friend know that? And why does Alyssa go to after school when she knows we have not signed up for after school? So that's the thing I'm talking about. But Pam don't want to listen because it's all about her. It's all about her. And listen, I'm proud that Alyssa got to school 2 days in a row on time. Okay, I'm very proud of that. But how long is that going to last? So You know, so Pam was like, she's doing good. She's doing good. I said, Pamela, 2 days. 2 days. Okay? How about after a month, you come and you tell me she's doing good? You know, this is what I'm talking about. Like with Pam, there's certain behavior that she does. You know, if she does it like once or twice, all of a sudden she thinks that, okay, yeah, I'm great. Yeah, I'm bringing them to school early, so everything is fine. And then what happened the next day? You know, like I said, she stayed home Monday because she was so damn exhausted and tired, and her legs was hurting her, her feet was hurting her, that she stayed home. You know, her thing is like, well, you know, I don't do it all the time. It doesn't matter whether you do it once or 100 times. It doesn't matter. The fact is that the after result is what I'm worried about, is what I think about. The fact that the kids don't go to school, right? The fact that you can't even take care of them. The fact that you would let our daughter walk to school by herself, you know, instead of saying, hey, take the bus. You know, take the bus. But she wants to stay home and sleep and don't want to get up. And that's it. That's all she is, running from her responsibility as a mother. That's all that is. And the only thing she can say, I put a roof over their head and, you know, and you know, I buy their clothes too. All right? All throughout the year, I'm buying them things. Not you. Okay, me. You know, and the most things that they need, I'm the one that's buying it. Not you. But you don't hear me throw that shit in your face. You know, of course, I said to her, I'm on disability. This is what you see, you just want to ignore and not want to accept. Right? And I said, you know, I'm not trying to convince you to accept it. It is what it is. Whether you want to accept it or not, that's on you. That has nothing to do with me. That's on you. But it is what it is. All right? and you are not going to have me, you and whoever your cult leader is, whoever it is that you're seeing was manipulating your ass, are not going to let you are not going to. I'm not going to be spending my disability money on your ass. Why would I? Why would anybody? You know? You know what I'm saying? I already buy enough shit for your house as it is. Okay? Like I said, I had to purchase towels for her apartment because, you know, she will have towels there for years. Years and not replace them. When I said to her, it's coming tomorrow, she was like, oh, I bought towels. I said, what towel did you bought? She was like, I bought some gray towels. I said, okay, you bought a pack of 4 gray towels. I said, tell me how that makes sense, right? So if Ethan and Alyssa is using the same color towels, right? Don't you think they're going to be confused by that? You know? And again, it just goes to show you how of a singular mindset she has. See, when I bought towels, I bought towels in different colors, different shades, right? So that way, each person, when they use a towel, they know exactly what towel they're using, what towel is theirs, right? Never buy multiple sets of the same color, particularly, you know, you don't buy 4 sets of one color if you have 3 or 4 people living in the house, and they'd be like, no. So you buy, you know, you might buy 2 sets, right? But I wouldn't even do that. You know, you may buy 2 sets and store the other set, because just in case, you know, something happens, you can always replace it with a new set. She don't think like that. She don't think like that at all. Right? Talk about her stove. Her stove needs replaced. You think she's going to replace her stove? Nope. She will wait till all the burners in the stove die out. This electric stove, right? It's pretty old. And then, you know, want to be in a rush to now buy a stove. And I said to her, you know, I'm not helping you. All right? I offered my help, and you said no. So I'm not helping you. I'm not helping you with the fridge either. I've offered you my help on that. You said no. So there you go. Her fridge is dying too. Her fridge is almost 20 years old. Okay? Fridge is dying. Fridge shuts off sometimes, and then it'll come back on. You know, she's not worried about that. Right? Because what's going to happen when the fridge dies, you got to get a new fridge. You got to bring it into the apartment. So you're not going to clip your apartment? You know, that's what I said, you know, it's like with her. So tonight, I just straight called. I said, you know, you're delusional. You're delusional. You are delusional. You don't want Ethan to take her to school? Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? You would think that that would be the most common sense thing for her. Yeah, her big brother is taking her to school. They can leave for school at the same time. Make sure Ethan gets up early. He has to be in school for 7:55. Alyssa, you know, she got to school early 2 days in a row because she had breakfast in school, right? Because her mother don't want to, you know, she's about her leg. I'm like, listen, I can tell you, I don't want to hear it. If you're not going to listen to me, don't tell me about how your leg or your feet or whatever. I don't want to hear that shit. Particularly after you had a night where you just stayed out all damn night, leave the children home by themselves because you're getting your back blown out. I don't want to hear that shit. Don't tell me about how your leg hurts or your feet hurts. You know what I'm saying? It don't make me jealous. It just makes me like again, you know, because she thinks by throwing shit in my face, like, yeah, I'm like, come on, Pamela. You're so damn stupid. The one person that truly care about you was committed to you, this is what you do. But, you know, that's, you know, as a TI, I understand why they do what they do. It's to manipulate anybody that you date, marry, or talk to, or if you're married, they will destroy your relationship. Because that's what these people do. That's why they are a destructive cult. And they exhibit the definition of a destructive cult and a hate, what they call the cult of hate. I hold the door for you, man. I hold the door for the ladies. He's like shaking his head. Come on. They got a woman in between and he's gonna walk in front of her.